Hello and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well. So today I'm going to be showing you how to make red stew in two ways, and they're going to be oil-free, vegan, so using only fresh produce. Now speaking of fresh produce, I just want to give a shout out to Marvelous Greens and Beans for sponsoring this video and providing me with all the amazing ingredients that I'm going to be using today. If you're in London, be sure to check them out. The base for every red stew is red bell pepper, tomatoes, scotch bonnet chili, and onions. And so as you can see here, I'm just giving my peppers a wash and I'm just going to break them up into small pieces using my hands. You don't need to be neat and tidy about this because it's going to go into the blender anyway. So just get rid of the stem, get rid of the seeds on the inside, and just tear it apart. Next, we want to take our tomatoes and cut them into smaller pieces. Now, please don't do it the way I'm doing it. If you have a chopping board, then definitely use that. I have a chopping board as well, but occasionally I like to just do the shortcut way of just cutting it in my hands, making sure that the knife isn't sharp. Don't listen to me. Don't do it the way I'm doing it in this video. Safety first. Do it on a chopping board. But anyway, you just want to cut your tomatoes into smaller pieces. And again, this is going to go into the blender, so it doesn't need to be perfect. Before we move on, can we just take a second to appreciate how amazing these tomatoes look? Look at how bright red they are. This is going to be amazing. So fresh, so succulent, beautiful. Right, so now we're gonna cut our onions into smaller pieces as well. I've got 2 large red onions here. You can use white onions as well. But yeah, just roughly cut them into large chunks. This is going to be going into the blender with our tomatoes and peppers. So again, no need to be perfect. Then I'm going to go ahead and prepare my other vegetables. I'm just cutting up my aubergine here, and then off camera I'm going to prepare my cauliflower, my kale, and also going to prepare my mushrooms by cutting them up into bite-sized chunks. Now, what I don't show on camera is that I'm actually going to air fry my mushrooms and my cauliflower for a few minutes, about 10 to 15 minutes on about 200 degrees. You can also do this in the oven. And I do this really because I love the flavor of roasted vegetables. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that for the cauliflower, and it adds a little bit of a singe and gives it a bit of color as well. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that. And it's very important to prepare all your vegetables before you start making the actual stews, because it just makes the process so much easier. So as you can see here, we've got everything prepped. We've got our tomatoes. Oh, and I forgot to mention that I will be adding my scotch bonnet chilies, so there they are. And we've got our cut red onions as well. That's going to go into the blender, like I said. And then these are the vegetables. We've got our kale. We've also got some cauliflower. Like I said, I've air fried that, so they're a little bit brown on the outside. Then I've decided to add some black-eyed beans as well, just for added protein. And we have our aubergine cut into bite-sized pieces. And I just love the texture of aubergine in stews. I think it's nice and meaty and chunky. Same with mushrooms as well. And these have been air fried for a little bit. So I'm going to just mix and match the different ingredients. In one stew, I'm going to have aubergine and kale. In the other, I'm going to have the cauliflower, the beans, and the mushrooms. So feel free to mix and match as you see fit. Okay, so we come to the blending stage. We start with about 2 cups of plain water, and then you just want to add in your onions, your tomatoes, scotch bonnet chili, and your red pepper. Now I'm going to be doing this in 2 batches because my blender just isn't big enough to fit all of this. And so yeah, I'm going to start doing like half of each one, blend it all together, and then repeat the process again. The next thing we want to do is to transfer our blended mixture into 2 pots. So half in one pot, half in the other pot. And you just want to bring that to a boil and then turn the heat down to about medium and then allow it to simmer uncovered for about 25 to 30 minutes. And the reason why I do this is because I want it to cook down slightly, get a little bit thicker, and also you want some of the water to evaporate. So that's why I leave it open. And I just prefer my stews thick, but some people prefer theirs a little bit watery, in which case maybe only boil for about 15 minutes. After this time, it's time to add our vegetables in there. So remember, like I said, for one, I'm going to go with aubergine and going to go with kale. But you want to add in the aubergine at a very early stage because you want it to cook and get nice and soft. So maybe about 5 minutes into cooking the stew, you add your aubergine and allow it to simmer with it. And then towards the end of the cooking time, that's when you add in your kale, so that you don't want to add it too early so that it doesn't wilt and lose its color. You still want it to be nice and vibrant. So add the kale towards the end of the cooking time. Then for my second stew, you can see it's nice and thick now. I'm going to go ahead and add in my cauliflower, mushrooms, and my beans as well. Interesting combination. This is almost like a bean stew. And yeah, I don't know, I just really like this combination. I think it's really tasty. So go ahead and omit or add whatever you want to add. But this is just a suggestion, and I hope you like it because it's delicious and it goes amazing with rice. So just allow these stews to cook for like another 5 minutes, no more than 5 minutes. They don't need too long at all. And then it's ready. And you can serve your stews with rice, you can serve it with boiled yam, you can even have it over some spaghetti. Basically any carb you can think of, just serve this alongside and you're good to go. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for tuning in as usual. Please remember to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Hit that like button, leave me a comment. I love it when you engage with my videos and you let me know what you enjoyed from it, or if you just give me some recipe suggestions for the future, that would be awesome as well. Hope you have a wonderful week and I will see you next time. Bye!